What's up, bad guys? Deceptibot9 here, back for another Marvel Legends wave ranking review. I love doing these so much. I love Marvel Legends, and I love talking about the waves and which figures I like overall and how I'd rank them all together. It's super, super fun. And today is super exciting because we're looking at one of the best, if not the best wave that Marvel Legends has produced this year. It's most definitely my favorite. That is, we're looking at the Villains wave of Marvel Legends, also known as the Xemnu Build-A-Figure wave. This wave has so many home runs in it. It's absolutely astounding. There's so many good figures here that I don't even know what to say. There's so many good figures here. There's a couple, as we're going to see in a minute, at the bottom of the list that I'm not a huge fan of, or I'm just kind of in the middle of, but there are so many figures here that blew my mind and blew me out of the water when I got them all. We're going to get into that right now.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right, coming in at the very bottom of the list, number 8, it is the Hood. Now, this guy got pretty shafted early on because when they revealed him, I don't know who this character is. I have no connection to this character at all. So I wasn't excited about him being in the lineup overall, and I got him in hand. And sometimes there's figures that you don't know you're gonna like when they get announced, right? You see something and you go, oh, I've never heard of that character. I haven't interacted with that character much. But the figure is so cool that it makes you want to go out and explore what that character is about because the figure is super awesome. The Hood does not do that for me at all. He's a character that I don't really know about, and this figure doesn't really give me much of a passion or a drive to go learn about that character. And if you guys can give me a reason to go figure out more about this character down in the comments below, I'd be happy to hear it. But this figure overall is just kind of... it's just not very good for me. And I know there's lots of people out there who do like this figure overall, but for me, the biggest thing comes down to the cape and the hood, which is actually also my favorite part of this set. Now, taking this on its own, it's super, super cool and super neat, and I want to just cut the hood off and find a different way to use this cape. And then the guy himself, I don't remember his civilian name. The Hood himself is just in civilian streetwear clothes. It's the Peter Parker body. Nothing new, nothing really exciting. The head is a nice looking sculpt. I'll give it that. It's a nice looking sculpt. The other problem with this cape hood piece is that it doesn't peg in anywhere. It just sits on his shoulders and his head, and it's a little too long. So you can't just put him in a neutral standing pose without the hood part popping up and looking a little ridiculous. So there's just a couple things about this guy that kind of plague me. And I cannot forget to mention that the coolest part of this figure, I know I mentioned it was the cape and the hood, but the coolest part are these gun accessories.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right, coming in at number 7 is the AIM Scientist Supreme. Now, there's nothing particularly wrong about this guy, and he looks super cool next to MODOK, and I need to get a couple regular AIM troopers to go with it. It's just the fact that this is one of those guys in this wave where everything else is just so much better than him that he's just kind of sitting here at the bottom, right? I actually have messed around with this guy a lot. One thing I really like is the ball joint that they've put into this head. Makes it really, really expressive, even though there's no face, right? You can put him down, makes him look sad, or up and he looks a little happy, right? So I really like how expressive he is despite not actually having a face overall. And he looks really nice. The gold paint on him, or the yellow, chrome paint on him is really, really nice. And he comes with a neat accessory, that little data pad. Yeah, he's just sitting down here because I like all the other figures so much better than him, but he looks really cool on a shelf and in an AIM display.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right, coming in at number 6 is Arcade. Now, this is a figure that I was pretty excited for when they announced that he was going to be in this wave, because when they announced this wave, I was in the midst of reading Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk run, and Arcade plays a fairly substantial role for part of that run. And so being able to get a figure from a comic run that I was reading at the time, I'm still reading, I'm just waiting for the next trade paper to come out, but the comic series that I was reading at the time is super, super cool. And overall, he's not bad. He doesn't have much going on. He is just wearing an all-white suit, as we can see, and he's got his cane, his head. His other alternate head also looks super, super cool. He's got these high platform shoes, but he just looks super nice, and he's super fun to have because he's an interesting character overall, and I like him. I like Arcade.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right, coming in at number 5 into the top 5 out of 8. Also spanning from my love/reading for the Immortal Hulk, it is the Build-A-Figure Xemnu. This guy is pretty awesome. I know some people were not super pleased how Xemnu turned out because there is just lots of retooled parts from the Wendigo Build-A-Figure. I don't have the Wendigo, even though that is one I want to hunt down eventually. So getting Xemnu for me is super, super nice. And like I mentioned, when they announced this wave, I was in the midst of reading the Immortal Hulk run, and there's a crucial arc that involves Xemnu in it. And that was my introduction to Xemnu as a character. And I really, really like what they did with him in the Immortal Hulk. So getting to add a figure version of him to my shelf and put with my Hulks and whatnot is really, really nice. I love, the interior of the hand, just like he has in the books. I love those piercing red eyes as well. If there was any complaints I was going to give about Xemnu, it's that the way the head is molded kind of limits articulation on both sides because he's got long hair in the back and he's got the beard in the front. But overall, he looks super, super nice no matter how you look at him. And I love having him for an Immortal Hulk shelf.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right, coming in at number 4. Now, these last 4 figures are all figures that I have, I think, nothing but good things to say. This is where the wave really shines. All these other figures that I've talked about already are pretty good. They're pretty solid figures overall, but these 4 are absolutely amazing. And in my personal opinion, absolute must-haves. And at number 4 is Lady Deathstrike. Now, when they announced that she was in this wave, I was like, all right, cool. It'll be nice to add her to my collection. I don't have a huge X-Men collection going on. I have some characters here and there, but I'm not super into X-Men. I love the X-Men, but that's one area of my collection that needs a little bit more adding to. So getting to add Lady Deathstrike overall was not that bad. Plus, I was absolutely blown away with how awesome of a figure she is. If you've seen any of my other Marvel Legends videos, you know I complain about that old Sue Storm female body mold. I don't like that body mold a whole lot. And so getting something new like this is so refreshing. I wish every female figure was done this way because Lady Deathstrike kills it. She's super, super awesome. I love we get pinless on all parts of her, which is really, really nice. I love the way the sleeves look. They're nice and flowy, but they're not soft plastic. They're hard plastic. And the way her fingers and her fingernails look, absolutely incredible. And that head sculpt is super, super nice with the great hair molding in. Everything about her articulation is also fantastic. I was blown away with Lady Deathstrike when I first got her, and I'm still blown away with Lady Deathstrike to this day. She's super rad.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right, coming in at number 3, very fittingly because this is the 3rd version of this mold that I have bought because I love this mold so much. It is God Emperor Doom from Secret Wars 2015. And like I said, this is the 3rd version of this mold I have. I have the original one from the Fantastic Four Super Skrull Build-A-Figure wave. I have the retro card Dr. Doom as well, and now I have this guy. I cannot get enough of this mold, and I cannot get enough of Dr. Doom. I think this one is the best. It's the way his metal chest is exposed and the articulation piece you can get going on around that, that's super, super incredible. And just like all the other Dr. Doom molds, he looks fantastic. He poses great. Cape is not that bad. It's not very intrusive. The skirt piece allows for some decent range of articulation. Plus, he comes with the Thanos skull. And how are you going to turn that down? This is my personal favorite Dr. Doom figure that I have, followed very closely by that retro card version. I love that one as well, but God Emperor Doom is the best version of Doom I think Hasbro has made, and if you don't have it, you should definitely add it to your shelf.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right, coming in at number 2. Now, honestly, number 2 and number 1 are pretty interchangeable, and for me, it's just coming down a little bit to character preference at this point. And when we get to number 1, I have a little bit of a backstory with that character to tell you. But number 2, did not expect to like this guy as much as I did. Number 2 is the Red Skull. This guy is awesome. This figure is so phenomenal. This head sculpt in particular looks great. The other one looks great too, don't get me wrong, but this head sculpt is absolutely fantastic. I love this head sculpt. I love all the different hand accessories options they give you. We, of course, get the Cosmic Cube, and we get this Hydro Blaster. He's pinless joints everywhere. The green looks really nice, and it's complemented very well by the Red Skull itself. Now, like I said, I did not expect to like this guy that much because I'm not a huge Captain America and surrounding characters fan, but I have to give it to the Red Skull as being probably one of my favorite parts of the Captain America mythos. And when I got this figure, I fell in love. This guy is so awesome. It makes me want to go out and read some Red Skull stuff because I freaking love this guy. I cannot get enough of Red Skull and of this body mold like we're going to see here in a second.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
And that, of course, brings us to our number 1. And if you've been following along with the wave, you will know who now is number 1. That is, of course, the Dread Dormammu. I love this guy. This thing is so awesome. He shares the body mold with the Red Skull, which I didn't know actually until I got both of these figures. I did not know that they were going to share the same body mold. It's a great body mold, great body sculpt, and look at him. He looks fantastic. This was the character that I was most excited about when they announced that they were doing this wave of figures, because the 2016 Dormammu Build-A-Figure is one of my Marvel Legends Grail figures. I really want the Build-A-Figure Dormammu. I haven't had a chance to get him yet. In 2016, I was still a little iffy on doing the Build-A-Figures. If you watched my Spider-Man videos, you will know that. I was kind of iffy on the Build-A-Figures still, so I didn't go all the way for Dormammu, but I really regret not doing that because I really want that Dormammu. And so finding out that they were going to make a new version of Dormammu was great, because now I have at least a version of Dormammu. I do intend on eventually getting that Build-A-Figure, but this guy looks incredible. He comes with all the same hand accessories that the Red Skull comes with, and look at that head sculpt. This head sculpt is so nice. The fire looks great. The eyes and the mouth exposed look great. The crown, I guess you could call it, looks awesome. He comes with fire effect pieces to put on his arms, the red shoulder pads, to the yellow belt, the purple, everything on this guy looks absolutely spectacular. Dormammu, I've come to bargain to get a bunch more of these guys because he's super great.
Every villain is Lemons, otherwise known as evil.
All right, everybody, that is all I have for you today. That is the Xemnu Build-A-Figure wave ranked from my least favorite to my favorite. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. What did you think of this wave overall? How would you rank these figures? Is it a little bit different than mine? Is it pretty similar than mine? I love villains. Villains are always one of my favorite parts of media, of anything. I love the villains. So getting a whole wave dedicated to villains was super exciting for me. And like I said, this is a home run. We got so many great figures in this wave. You'll notice that most of this video is praise because of how much I love pretty much all of these figures. That's all I got for you guys today. Take care. I'll see you all next time.